It's important that you're comfortable working within the Linux terminal to be able to manipulate folders and files, moving, copying, deleting, things like that. So let's dive in, and we're going to start off with the copy command. So let me show you the setup that I've got right now. If you take a look on my system right here, you'll see that I've got this documents folder, and it's got a whole bunch of files in it. And I need to copy these files over to this folder right here called backup. So first of all, let's go into that documents. I have to spell it right. And let me show you what we got going in here. So I've got a whole bunch of files. I've got important and not important. These are all a bunch of PDF files. And the whole goal here is to get all of these copied over into that backup folder. Now, if you're comfortable with Windows, you know in Windows we use a lot of backslashes. Keep in mind in the Linux world we use a lot of forward slashes. So when I say slash, that means a forward slash. When I say backslash, I mean a backslash. So here we go. Now the copy command in Linux is just cp. So I can type cp. You notice I'm in the documents folder, and I can use wildcards. So in this case, I'm just going to put in one asterisk. That means I don't care what it is, I want everything. And then I'm going to say where I want it to go to. So in this case, I want to go up one to the student, and then backslash to backup. Now think about that for a minute. So what I'm saying to Linux is start where you are in documents, double dot, which means go up to that student home folder, and then slash backup down into the backup folder. So if I've done this right, let's see what happens. And nothing happens, but trust me, a lot just did. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into that backup folder, and let's see what's there. Ta-da! So everything copied. Now that's one where I just use a wildcard asterisk to copy everything. If I wanted to copy one file, it would be cp, name of the file, and then where I want it to go. The mv command works exactly the same as the cp command. The only difference is that the mv command actually moves stuff. So make sure you're comfortable. cp to copy, mv to move, and then they work exactly the same, except move takes the original and erases it. All right. So now I've made all this stuff in backup. What I'd like to do now is to delete all these. And to do that, we use the rm, or remove command. So rm works pretty easily. We just type rm and then the name of the file that we want to delete. So in this case, for the starters, I'm just going to delete one of them. So I'm deleting important01.pdf. I hit enter. And you can see, if you look carefully, important1.pdf is now gone. And again, rm uses wildcards just like anything else. So I'm going to do the rm command with an asterisk. I'm just going to hit enter. And it's gone. Right? So if we're working with files, cp, mv, and rm are the commands you're going to go to. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up one here, and let's do it ls. Now you'll see I've got that backup folder. Now the backup folder is currently empty, so I want to get rid of the backup folder. So to get rid of the backup folder, you don't type rm. You're actually going to type rmdir, remove directory. And you can see the backup is gone. And while it's not on the A+, I'm going to throw it in anyway. If you want to make a directory, it's mkdir, and then the name of the directory. I'm going to make one called backup2. You type ls-l to c, and there's a copy of backup2. Now, while I'm in here, I'm going to show you one more thing, and that is case sensitivity. I know in an earlier episode I talk about the idea that when you're typing commands, they're case sensitive, but data is also case sensitive. Now here's something you can't really do in Windows. Well, you gotta be careful, later versions you can, but I'm going to make another folder called backup2, but watch this. I'm going to do mkdir, except capital BACKUP2. So take a look right there. So you can see I have two folders that I've created, both called backup2, but one with uppercase, because when it comes to these guys, there is a little bit of case sensitivity. Cool, make sure you're comfortable with those. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is a very, very powerful tool called DD. The DD command is an incredibly powerful command that can copy entire hard drives, it can copy entire partitions, it can even wipe out hard drives and partitions if you need it to. Now, I'm going to run you through the DD command right now, give you a few examples. That one problem is the DD command takes forever. So I'm just going to run through these examples, show them to you. You can try them on your own spare time when you can sit around and let them run for 15, 20 minutes while they do whatever they're going to do. So the first example I'd like to do is we're going to copy an entire hard drive. Now, in the Linux world, when you're talking about hard drives, each hard drive gets normally a three-letter acronym. Like your first hard drive would be SDA, your second hard drive is SDB, that type of thing. Now, once you have partitions within there, it'll be SDA1. If you have two partitions, then it's SDA1 and 2, that idea. So if you first want to get an idea of all the block devices on your system, there's a handy little command called lsblk. And you can see I have SDA, SDB, SDC, SDD, SDE, SDF, and SDG. So I've got a lot of individual devices in here and a lot of different partitions. So in this particular case, let's say that SDA is my primary boot drive and I want to make a clone image of it to another drive. So to do that, I'm going to type this command. DD absolutely requires sudo or you're not going to go anywhere. Now I want you to take a close look at this command. What I'm saying is IF is my input file, and what I'm saying is SDA, the entire SDA hard drive, and OF is the output file. I know it's really a hard drive, but hey, it's Linux. So the output file is SDB. Dev is just a nomenclature of where all these different devices exist within the Linux environment. So if I were to hit enter on this, it's going to take my entire first hard drive and at a block level is going to copy every little chunk and clone it exactly the same on the other drive. So I better make sure that other drive's the same size. All right. So there's one example of what we can do. Now what I'm going to do is, let's say I have one particular partition. It's got a whole bunch of stuff on it and I want to clone that one partition. To do that, now you notice I've got a 1 in there because this is a partition, not an entire hard drive. Now, if we look at this command, what we're saying is take the first partition on my first hard drive, SDA1, and copy it to a backup image. Now, do you see that little tilde right there? That tilde is just saying my home directory. So it's going to go right to my home directory and it's going to drop that file right there for me. So I better have room there because that could be a very, very large file. So that's another great reason for DD. Now the third reason for DD, and probably the reason I use it more than anything else, is for wiping hard drives. It's great for this. So what I'm going to do in this case, now, if you look at this particular command, what I'm saying is, got a little typo in there. Let's fix that. There we go. So what we're saying here is our input file is something called urandom. And what that means is just go to the system's random number generator. And the output file is my entire first hard drive. If I hit enter right now, I would be a very sad person because it would wipe out my first hard drive. So it says my output file is my first hard drive, and then BS equals 4K. These modern hard drives have 4K blocks, and I'm just telling it put in random numbered chunks in blocks of 4K at a time. And that will do a pretty good job of wiping out everything on that particular drive. So I am definitely not hitting enter. So that's just a few ideas of what you can do with the DD command. It is an incredibly powerful tool, and along with things like copy and move and pwd are going to be the kind of tools you need in Linux to be able to work with folders and files.